Talk about Mexican Independence Day. We can call it Teddy Atlas here in Las Vegas, Nevada. You heard from the champion himself, knocking out the competition.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Richard Ortiz of The Fighter's Voice, the only voice that matters. And I'm like our guest tonight, El Morenito, Nathan Rodriquez, who's going to be fighting March 15th. Long Beach, California, Thunder Studios. The undefeated Nathan is going to put his undefeated record on the line for you, the fans, the followers, and the supporters to give you what? Entertainment and give you a knockout evening. Enough said. Welcome to The Fighter's Voice, Nathan.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm glad to be here and ready to get this interview going.
You know, I wanted to ask you this right off when you came on air, but I said, you know what, I'm going to wait till we come on air to ask you this. How was church tonight, bro?
It was awesome, man. As always, it's just a blessing to be able to receive, that word. Just as the Bible says, we don't feed ourselves just off physical food, but spiritual food, So it's a blessing to be able to receive that spiritual food as well. So awesome, great message tonight.
What motivates you to keep serving God? Where do you get that hunger from? Where do you get that accuracy? What is that? To continue to stay on that right track.
Definitely. First of all, it's just a blessing to be able to be raised up, in a Christian home and led down the right path. But also just experiencing God, and through my life, through other people's lives. So it's just it's just something when you see, it's like you just can't let that go. You have to continue to follow Him, and like His Word says, seek first the kingdom of God, and everything else will be added onto you. So, my plan is just always to put God first in whatever I do, and just let Him lead my path.
What was the message about tonight?
Tonight it was today we're talking about sorry, I got my mind went blank. Today, oh, there you go. About understanding the word, because there's a lot of people who say they're believers or they're followers of Christ, but they're not into their word. They're not reading their word. Also, when people tell them things, some things that may not be true or come from the Bible, and they just repeat it, and it's just false doctrine and false things. So it's just very important for us to be in our word, to do our research, so that we may be able to, preach the right things and preach what God is telling us, not what we make up ourselves, So
I appreciate that, man. I was just telling myself today, I need to bring church to the podcast, bro. I need to, first and foremost, I'm blessed to have this platform because of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and without Him,
Amen.
none of this is possible. He's I'm going through, a sore throat right now, but He's blessed me with a voice to me like no other, and I appreciate all of God's gifts. And let's talk about the gifts that you're going to display March 15th, Long Beach, California, Thunder Studios. Marv Nation's back at it again, bringing you a blockbuster show and a great event. Talk to us about that event.
Definitely, yeah. It's going to be a great event. We also have, I believe, Amado Vargas fighting on the card, Miguel Gaona, and just many other fighters that will be announcing, and just many upcoming talent and young, hungry fighters. So just overall, it's going to be a great event. I believe our last event we had there was December 14th when I fought, and just, everybody came out. The crowd was just electrifying. The people were just, they were just glad to see the fights that went on that night. And here at Marv Nation, that's what we plan to do, to bring the best fights.
I tell you what, man, not just because I get on the mic and commentate. I have not been to a Marv Nation event that has not a blockbuster hit. That is not one of those knockouts that you never forget, or a performance that you'll never forget, or even an artist in the middle of the ring singing and doing his or her thing. It's entertainment. It's for family. It's for adults. It's for people that just want to have a great night of entertainment. Not just boxing, but be entertained. And you know what I like about it? You never know who'll be in the crowd.
Yeah, definitely. There's always people popping up. They hear about Marv Nation, they hear about the great events going on, and some, celebrities, some some people just they want to come check it out for themselves. And we've heard a lot of good feedback
Excuse me.
from people like that and stuff. So it's just motivating, and we just continue to try our best to put on the best fights, and just give those up and coming people, those fighters, what's that word? Opportunity to showcase, their skills and stuff. So, yeah, like I said, it's gonna be a great event this March 15th. So, if you're not doing anything that day, make sure to come out. Like Richard said, it's not just boxing. We entertain the people. We like them to have fun and just feel, just happy and just have a great time. So make sure you come check it out and get your tickets at marvnation.com.
There you go. That was the most important thing I was going to ask you, because people, they always ask me, hey, Richard, where can I get tickets? Or are you going to be there? Is this going to go on? And I just say, look, man, just go to marvnation.com. All your questions will be answered there. There's tickets there. Great price, too. Now, talk to us about, you're going to have some females on the card. Talk to us about the undercard and what can we expect from these female fighters. Excuse me 1 second.
Yeah,
We'll edit that out, but go ahead. Go on and
definitely.
fill me in on that.
I did hear about that. I did see one. I didn't see who the other female was, but I believe one of the ones that I did see was she was an Olympian, and I believe if I'm not mistaken, I believe she had went to the Olympics, and I think she had gotten robbed. There was some sort of controversy there and stuff. Um, but it's just it's amazing that she's coming back to fight, and professionally, I believe she's making her pro debut. So that's gonna be awesome. Ready for the next chapter of her life, and I just hope the best and wish the best for her, and that she gives a great fight to the fans, and they're able to see what she's about.
That's good, because it's a balanced card. It's always a balanced card, but it's good to see the females in the ring, because they don't believe in jabs. They just go at it like cats. And I'm not taking anything away from, it's not saying they don't have a game plan or they don't have skill level, but when it comes to the filling out process, enough said, they just let their hands go.
Exactly, man. Some women fight. I've been to some women fights too, and it's like, oh, like when they be getting hit, like sometimes you can hear it too. I'm like, oh, like that looked like it hurt. So, I give credit to women. It's like I always say, it takes a lot to get in that ring. There's some men that might be scared to get in that ring, but there's some women that do get in that ring. So I give props to everybody. Who trains hard, who gives it everything they got in that ring, and just steps up to that plate and takes on that challenge for sure.
For you, what's it like being in that ring?
It's just it's awesome. I mean, it's funny since the first fight that I had actually. Um, at first it felt like a video game. It didn't feel real. I was like I've had amateur fights, but like just professional was like definitely totally something different. And just after a couple fights, I started getting like used to it and stuff. But now when I'm in that ring, I just feel comfortable. I just feel where I'm supposed to be, and I just showcase what we practice on during our training camp.
That ring walk, a lot of people, I've spoke to a lot of fighters, and they told me, say, Richard, there's times I'm sick in my stomach, and there's some that said, you know what, I don't even remember the ring walk. Or there's some that say, yeah, I take my time, I like to take it all in. Or, hey, Richard, I'm just focused. For you, have you experienced any of those, and what's your most memorable to this day, your ring walk?
Definitely. I mean, yeah, there's different fighters that have different ways of coping or helping them feel more comfortable, before they get in that ring. For me, I would say my most memorable ring walks would be when I made I think it was my pro debut, and I actually was able to make in my hometown, Pico Rivera, and man, like the city just showed out. There was a bunch of people, I believe, over like 3,000-4,000 people there, and it was just awesome, just to be able to see, the city I grew up in, just being able to support me, and just that's how Pico Rivera is, just very supportive. Always happy whenever anybody comes up out of the city, and that night was definitely just a night to remember for sure.
Well, you do got a fanfare, because every fight that I've attended to, and the fans come out every time you come into the ring, and every time you're in the ring, not only do you surprise people with sometimes your movement and just being calm, but I truly believe if you look good, you feel good, you play good. And
Mm-hmm.
every time you come out, man, from your shoes to your socks to your
Mm-hmm.
walkout music to your whole wardrobe, man, how much thought process do you put into that? And do you pick it out yourself, or do you and your dad sit down together, or where do you get the feedback from, and who does it? Let's give him a shout out.
Yo, yeah, I want to give a big shout out to my guy F4 Studios. He's the one who does all my fight outfits, always making sure I look the best out there. And also a big thank you to Adams Boxing, the most comfortable boxing shoes out there. Always, not only the most comfortable, but also the most. I mean, have you seen my last fight? Just the whole outfit put together
Yes.
just looked incredibly nice. So big shout out to them. But yeah, overall, I let them do their part, and I mean, lately, I'm always impressed with their work. I do my part of the job. I go in the ring and get my job done, but they also do their job and they make the looks and the boxing, everything just come out good. So
What happens after the fight? What happens with your wardrobe? Where does it go? Do you keep it in a container together, or do you sometimes use the socks again and the shoes again, or what? I've
Mhm.
always wanted to ask fighters, what do they do with their shorts? I mean, some display them, some give them to some sponsors or so forth. But where does most of your gear go? What do you do with it?
Definitely, I still have I have a lot of since I had a lot of fights, I do have a lot of outfits. But some of the times, or most of the times, I'll give them to a sponsor. Just a way to show appreciation. For them supporting me, and hopefully it's something cool that they can display on their at their business or whatever, and just it looks nice. So a lot of times I do give them to sponsors. If not, I just have them hanging in my room. So.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I never ask for anything. But after your fight, man, or your last sparring session, you got to save some ham wraps for us. And I'm going to display them here, right here on the Fighter's Voice. But you got to sign them when you're all done. Because I know
Of
they just
course, yeah,
print them
no,
off and stuff real fast, but maybe they can keep one kind of cool. We'll put it right here in plastic and we'll display it, man.
definitely. No, yeah. After the fight, once I'm back and out from that locker room, definitely I got you, so
And
you
it
can
don't
put
have
it
to
up
be.
there.
It doesn't even have to be this fight. It could be one of your ones coming up, man. Because I think that'd be cool right here. Be a great
Definitely.
conversation piece.
Yeah. No, well, nobody has asked me for this fight, for my hand wrap. So I'll give it to you. You got first. You asked me, so I keep my word. I got you.
Hey, the Bible says, "You ask, you shall receive." Amor bonito. I want to make sure that you put that on there, man, because I remember that nickname goes in your connection with your grandfather, correct?
Definitely, yeah. The nickname came from my grandfather. I actually have an older brother, and he started boxing before me. And it was around the time my older brother was gonna make his professional debut.
Yeah.
And my grandpa was really excited to see him fight. And he lived in Mexico, but unfortunately he didn't make it to be able to see that event come to pass. But from there, my brother just took on his name, El Moreno. That's what they called him out there in Mexico. So he just took his name. And when I started boxing, since I'm younger, smaller and stuff, I just added the ICO at the end.
I like that, and I could tell, Nathan, that name means a lot to you. I mean, you display it with pride, and I could tell it means a great deal to you.
Oh, definitely. My grandpa is he was a big person and a big motivation, in my life and stuff. And it's just always great times with my grandpa, so just doing my best to be able to represent my name in that ring and just, bring honor to him and just thank him for all the love and support he always showed me. And, hopefully, he's happy.
What are your days like leading up to this fight? Like right now, when does it become maybe the last 3 days? When do you start saying, okay, I don't want to have too much conversation right now? Do you start to shut yourself away from other people? Do you start to like pull yourself away? Do you need self time? Is that your strength, or what happens in that last week, your preparation?
Definitely. I would say each fight is different. There's sometimes where the weight cut is like, I'm feeling it, and then there's times where I'm like, I feel really good.
Yeah.
My last fight, I felt great. The last week, like I said, sometimes there's fights where you're like just so hungry, tired, thirsty, like, and like you don't have the energy and the strength to be able to talk to people. So there's times where I'll talk to people, but I'm like fighting to like try to stay quiet. But But yeah, my last camp, I had a great camp. Weight cut was easy. The last week, usually just light shadow boxing, some running on the treadmill and stuff. But during that time when I was in the gym and stuff, I was just happy, singing, just like ready for the
Yeah.
fight. But there are times where it's just like you just gotta push yourself, and it's just quiet and stuff. But yeah, definitely.
How is this camp going so far? I mean, because we're less than 2.5 weeks away.
Definitely 2 weeks away. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm feeling great so far. Great sparring, great work, and I'm just ready. Just like I said, you guys come out March 15th and just let me show my or display my skills to see what we've been working on, and my goal is to look better each fight. I got some really good feedback on my last fight, but I just continue to strive to do better and just look more sharp. So hopefully this fight, that's what we can accomplish.
Well, I can tell you this, Nathan. The commentating sure was good on your last fight. I can tell you it was on point.
Definitely, it was awesome. Yeah, really good commentating.
Listen, I'm just chuckling, man. It's always good to see you, and every time I see you fight, I see growth, I see maturity, and I'm really impressed with how poised you are in there, and how Lennox Lewis, when he was coming up, he didn't waste punches. He was like a technician. He when he threw punches, it's because they were pretty accurate. It was like
Yeah,
75%
yeah,
accurate. And you don't waste too many punches in there. When you let your punches go, they fly. But you're like a technician in there is what I want to say.
definitely. I would say I'm very strategic. I don't like to
Absolutely.
waste punches. I don't like to waste punches.
That's energy.
There's fighters out there that just go out there and just throw and throw and throw and throw. But I'm very strategic. And I like to be safe and at the same time because boxing is it could be dangerous, So I try not to just throw some or waste some shots and then me get hit with some shots that I don't see coming or whatever, So I try to pick my shots, some effective shots, not just some touching or whatever. But I always do my best to land good shots and shots that are gonna damage and break the opponent down little by little for sure.
Do you feel that you're growing as a fighter? When I say growing, I mean learning more. Are you continuing to learn? Are you still learning in the sport?
Definitely, always. I would say boxing is a sport that you're always learning something new every day, and um, like I said, I try my best to look good after each fight, and I believe, in the most humble way, I believe I have been looking better each fight, and just continue to learn and just grow stronger, and I give it my all in the training so that it can pay off in the fights, and I believe that's what it's been doing so far.
When do you make something, whether it's trying to perfect a punch or a combination or footwork? Because it's sometimes when it's introduced to a fighter, just like something new is, it becomes awkward. It's like, oh man, I don't want to do that. How do you transition from that to, hey, I perfected it. I'm glad I went through that little struggle or that just to get over where I'm at today. For an example, maybe you didn't like throwing body shots. You're like, oh, I really don't want to do, and then you perfected
Mhm.
it. That may
Definitely.
not be what I'm talking about, but how long of a transition from you being introduced to something new to you going through that little struggle until you perfect it?
Definitely. I think it depends, like depending what it is. I would say some stuff. Not that I don't like to throw certain punches or that I don't like to do certain things, but some stuff does come easier to me. I have been told a lot, by a lot of coaches that I'm a quick learner and I usually get things down quick. But if it's something that I don't throw or I'm struggling with, is I'm trying to do it, but I would say like the muscle memory
Yeah.
hasn't really been built yet, so
Yes.
that's why a lot of repetition and just practice over and over is really good to get that muscle memory so that it just comes out naturally. And yeah, like
Absolutely.
before I wouldn't really throw much body shots, I would be much of a face puncher and stuff like that. But um, I would see how much damage the body does. You could hit a lot of shots up here to a fighter, and he'll still be standing. But one good shot right here, and he'll be down. But definitely, body shots is something that I've been trying to work on more. And I see during sparring, how effective it really is, and now I just try to implement that into my fights now.
What's the most satisfying thing that you like to do in the gym? Like, I know certain days, coaches that have you do different things, but what do you look forward to doing? Like, okay, we get to do this because I really like this, enjoy this.
Hmm.
Where you do it and it isn't, you don't even think about it as work.
Yeah, yeah. For sure, number one, I would probably say sparring. That's one of my most favorite things. Is just when I'm in there, I'm just having fun, and my mind is just like it's just at peace. And I'm just doing what I love to do. But also mitts and bag work. Is because those are the times where I really get to perfect my craft, to really work on what I need to work on. Some people may see like mitts and bag work like just another workout, just another, something to lose weight or whatever it may be. But for me, those are the times where you actually perfect and work on the little things, And like I said, that get that repetition, build that muscle memory, and so it can come out sharp in the fights.
What do you know about your opponent? What do you know about the guy you'll be facing March 15th?
Right now, I don't know too much about him. I need to do more research. Lately, I've just kind of been focused on my training, doing what I got to do. But usually, like I would say, like around the last week is where I'll start to do my studying. Once I close out camp after my last sparring, then I'll go ahead and take some look at film, see what my opponent likes to throw, what he got, his pros, his cons. So right now that I'm in camp, I like to finish strong, do what I gotta do, and then when it's fight week, that's just when I start to focus a little bit more on my opponent.
I know you don't like to look ahead, or you really don't like to call a name out there. You said, well, Richard, when the time comes and when I'm ready, whoever the champion is, that's who you want to fight. What are you working towards? I know everybody says the championship, but there has to be that next level. What is it? Is it like last week we had Richard Torres Jr. who was on the show, and he said, Richard, I'm finally getting
Yes.
to be in a main event. I've been working towards that. I've always wanted to be in a main event. And he said, I know there's
Mhm.
bigger fights coming up, but now I get to be in a main event. Besides the championship, what is one of your goals that you want to work towards?
Just to continue to showcase my skills, obviously to the world, just hopefully just to get a bigger fan base, to get more eyes, so that if God willing, if I ever do get one of those big fights, that I can have all those eyes on me, and so
That's
that
right.
they may be able to see a good fight, at the end of the day. But like I said, right now I just take my time step by step. I never like to bite off more than I can chew, because I see there's some fighters that do, they call out names and some stuff. So I like to I like to stay humble. I don't like to
Yeah.
do all that. When it's my time, it's my time. It'll come. If God has it planned, it'll come to pass. But if not, God has the best plan. So I put my faith and trust in Him, and whatever happens, happens.
Is there a different fighter? Is there a Nathan Rodriguez and then there's a Al Morenito? Are they different?
Definitely. I mean, El Morenito. My fighting side, what people see, in the boxing world or in the ring, But outside of boxing, Nathan Rodriguez just cool, just funny guy. Likes to just have fun, and um, some people may see boxers like, how could I say it, like just maybe always angry or like always in a bad mood. Um, one thing about me is I'm not a fighter. I'm not somebody that gets mad all the time or super angry. I like to do boxing because I have fun with it. I fell in love with it, and that's just what I do. But outside of the ring, I'm a nice guy, and like I said, I just like to have fun and just talk to people and stuff. So
What do you tell a boxing fan that has never been to a Marv Nation event and they want to go for the first time? What can they expect, and why is Marv Nation Promotions different from the other promoters out there?
definitely, you can come check it out for yourselves. Like I said, for them to experience it themselves, then they can truly understand, and spread the word. But Marv Nation, like I said, we always just have the best fights. Shout out to our matchmaker, my sister Crystal. She's been putting on really good fights. But yeah, our Marv Nation show is just different. Like I said, it's not only boxing. We try to bring entertainment to keep people, not only entertained by the fights, because the fights are really good themselves, but we also try to bring in other stuff so that they can just have a better experience. I would say that I haven't seen maybe from other promoters as far as uh, like not so big fight, because obviously bigger fights they might do something like that and might have an artist or something, but Marv Nation always, every event, always have something, to keep the people entertained, not just the fights alone, so that's what I could say Marv Nation is definitely different about.
Well, I like the way, personally, the way we feature young up and coming fighters, as if to say, these guys, get a look at them now because you're going to see them at some of the biggest events in the world. And I'm talking about, I'm excited to see Santos Ortega back on the card, and another young talent.
Definitely. No, yeah, that's, I keep getting a call. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, okay, sorry, somebody keeps
It's
calling
okay.
me. But yeah, the thing about Marv Nation is just, they're here, just to fighters
Hey,
that don't have that
hey,
opportunity to
Nathan,
fight,
Nathan,
their yeah.
hey Nathan, if you want, take that call on the air. If it's your dad, take the call on the air.
No, 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 no. It's
Put it on
somebody. It's not
speaker. We,
important.
we want to know who's calling you, man.
Oh yeah, you guys could hear a call.
Yeah, yeah. We'll
Yeah,
just put it on speaker. Hey, we'll take it.
it's because it's my sister. I don't know if it's maybe
Oh, okay.
something important or but whatever. But yeah, no worries. But yeah, like I was saying, Marv Nation, they're just here to give the opportunity to, fighters up and coming that don't have the opportunity. The reason why Marv Nation was started was because when my older brother was gonna make his pro debut, um, my brother only had 4 amateur fights. He had no experience. He had no big name. He doesn't come from a boxing family. So obviously, when they went in and tried to get a fight, on these other promotions, it's like they don't really pay no attention to you unless you have a big name, like I said, things like that. So Marv Nation is here to give that opportunity to the people that don't have that big name, that don't have that big following, whatever the the case may be. We're just here just to show the people, these fighters' skills, what they got, their heart, and so far, all the fighters that I have been seeing on the Marv Nation card, they're all really great. They all put in their work. They all have heart, and they just give the fans the best fight. So, it's amazing what I can see definitely from these fighters.
No, and that's a good thing. And one thing I will say is, I've been around a lot of promotions, and people do what they, I guess, what they have to do. But I will say this about Marv Nation: one of the most honest promoters that I've ever worked with, straight up. I mean, really, and
Hmm.
that's real talk right there.
Definitely, we're here, just to show people that we're here to help. A lot. This world is just crazy. A lot of people just kind of try to look out for themselves. We're not here at Marv Nation. We're here, for the best interest of everybody. We try to help out and just, spread that love and just, those good vibes, those positive vibes. So that's what we offer and we share here at Marv Nation.
Exactly. And you know what? One thing that you guys did on your last show, you collaborated with Arnold Barboza, and shout out to Arnold Barboza, who is now the WBO world lightweight champion. And iron sharpens iron. Him in attendance. Him also giving back. He also had a young fighter on the card too. I believe his last name was Ochoa, and
Hmm.
he did really well. And you guys
Definitely.
continue to grow.
Yeah, of course. No, yeah, I've seen that fight. Congrats and props to Barbosa. He has that big fight coming soon, hopefully against Teofimo, and we're just cheering for him and wishing him the best. But yeah, I believe this card, I believe it's co-promotion with Abner Mares. So we're just excited just to be able to work with Mares and just see what God has planned.
And when God's in the middle of it, man, it's a fixed fight. It's a done deal already. You know, we already know who won.
Exactly.
We're covered.
Exactly. So, yeah, it's all about just putting our faith and trust in God and just let Him do the rest.
Well, as you do, you put your faith and trust in your hands once that first bell rings. And, you know, what can we expect from you when that bell rings, when it's your turn and you're in that ring?
Definitely. My last fight, I would say I wasn't, I would not say with the performance, but I wasn't too pleased with how it ended. I wanted it to last a little longer, to show a little more. I felt like I was barely warming up. I was the first round, 2 rounds. I was just feeling the fighter out, see what he got. And the third round is when I started to pick it up, and that's when the ref ended it. But I understand also from a referee's point of view. Trying to look out for the best interest of a fighter to not get hurt. I believe about 2 weeks ago, that was a young fighter, I think around 25, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
He had a daughter, and he didn't make it out the ring. And it just sucks to see young people like that, just not make it out. But it shows the dangerous side of boxing. So I give my respect to the referee, to the commissions. They're doing their job. They got to do what they have to do.
Well, Nathan, you got to remember, you don't get paid to work overtime.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, exactly. I mean, as long as, to me, if my goal is if I look better and the fans are pleased and they enjoyed the fight, that's all that matters. So
Well, I'll tell you what, you mentioned fans over and over again, and we got to talk about growth because a lot of people need to know exactly, what your page is all about. How many times do you post? And it's another side to a fighter. It's called self promotion. And right now,
hmm
promotion is free all through social media. How can we follow you? How many handles do you have? And are you going to get any more handles? Are you on TikTok? Do you got a YouTube page? All these fans and followers and supporters, they want to know.
definitely, yeah, you guys can stay updated. Where I'll be posting more fight info, training videos, whatever it may be. You guys can follow me on Instagram at El Morenito Boxing. TikTok, I don't use too much. I do have a couple of boxing videos up there, but it's the same as my Instagram, El Morenito Boxing. But definitely, mostly my Instagram is where you guys can, stay updated with me, and just see whenever I'm fighting, see what I'm up to. And, also, using my platform that God gave me just to spread His word, So if you guys are looking just to see, little messages here and there, definitely check out the stories to receive something good, So
Well, it's always good to get fed. And a lot of people, here's the thing. Where's your gear? Do you have any gear? We have hats. We have shirts. We have hoodies. Anything that's rocking Al Morenito. Or Rodriquez, Marv Nation. Where can we get all that stuff? Is it the day of the fight, or is it on your website?
definitely, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I do believe Marv Nation sets up sometimes, and they do sell merchandise. For me, I would say I would probably start doing like pre-order soon, because there have been people that have been asking me, where can I get a shirt and just things like that. So um, I'm gonna do my best, to work on that. I'm always just caught up in training and a lot of other things, but definitely I'm gonna work on getting more merch out. So the people that do wanna support, I'll have it right there for them.
Well, Nathan, I know we had to move some things around and work with everybody's schedule, but I knew I wanted to have you on the show, but better sooner than later. And
Definitely,
last
yeah.
time, we had those. You were in training, and a lot of times a little mix up because I understand during that
Yeah,
week and coming up, time is precious, and there's no better time but to rest. A fighter needs to rest. If a fighter doesn't eat right and rest right, he can't compete in the race. He can't compete. So we completely understand. And I knew I was persistent. I wanted to get you back on the show. I want the whole world to hear you and need to know
definitely.
about the best kept secret in boxing. And that's El
Mhm.
Morenito, man. That's Nathan
Appreciate it,
Rodriguez,
brother.
Mob Nation. And
Thank you. No, yeah, definitely. Thank you for continuing to reach out. Like I said, I mean, I want to do it. A lot of times I do get caught up, and I'm just like busy and I have stuff to do. But I'm glad we were able to connect and finally do it. Get this done and post it and just answer or whatever if anybody has any and they leave any comments or whatever. I'm just excited to answer or whatever. So
Well, I'm going to make sure I tag you on everything, and we're going to release some teasers of videos, and then
Yeah,
we're going to bring it on just in time to hype it up just for the fight. And, you know,
perfect.
any other shout outs out there, anybody you want to say hello to or anything that I miss, the platform is yours right now.
Definitely. No, I just want to give a big thank you, to everybody who's been supporting me, everybody who goes to the fights, the Marv Nation events. Definitely a big thank you to all my sponsors, Collision Tech, F4 Studios, Adams Boxing, my bad, Apish, A&W Law Firm, and Alfredo's Towing. Big thank you to all of them for supporting my journey to hopefully one day becoming a world champion, God willing.
Well, I tell you what, man, I'm going to try to hook you up with another a buddy of mine. We had him on the show earlier. He's from my hometown of Madeira. He has a company. It's called the Come Up Kicks. He has merchandise. He has shoes. He's just came back from Dubai. And
Nice.
I don't know if your manager hasn't hit you up yet. And I'm not just saying the Vargas brothers aren't the only good looking cats in town, bro. I could see Nathan Rodriquez, wearing some clothing or some kicks, representing and rocking. I'm gonna hook you guys up together, man, and maybe you guys can collaborate somehow. That's what we do on the Fighter's Voice, man. Iron sharpens iron.
Of course. No, yeah, definitely. I like to put a little style, wear some nice clothes, nice shoes. I try to dress nice. So, that would be dope. We connect and get something going. That would for sure be something awesome.
I'll let him know that too, and I'll tag both you guys because he'll be coming. His show will be out a little soon as well, probably sometime tomorrow or early Saturday before his launch of his new store. So,
nice.
Hey, man, as always, it's a pleasure having you on. Class act.
Thank you.
And your words are very. You think before you speak. There's a lot of people, they just go. It's just like, throwing a weird combination. And I'm like, you're not even setting anything up. What is that? And I know you set your trap, bait people in, and that's the way you handle yourself outside of the ring as well. You're very, you choose your words correctly.
Definitely, I try not to say, things that may look bad. Sometimes things may be interpreted wrong. So I try to be careful and just choose the right vocab. And like I said, always just be humble and, just keep it cool. So that's definitely my thing.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Al Morenito, our guest tonight on The Fighter's Voice. And the interview is going to be up soon. And if you have not subscribed to our YouTube, please subscribe. www.youtube.com/thefightersvoice. Remember, every fighter has a voice, and so do you. As always, it's a wrap. Thumbs up for Richie.
Okay, fight fans, it's not goodbye, but until next week. Remember, it's always voiceography at its finest. So on behalf of Richard Ortiz, the special guests, saying hasta luego, babies. And always, thanks for listening.